Good evening. My name is Johnny Licona, and today I'll be describing what the PACER test is and how to set up your gymnasium when performing the PACER test. Because of the pandemic, I am unable to go to the park, gather some people around, and actually demonstrate how to PACER test, which is what I actually prefer to do. It's a lot easier to understand, better to see than to just hear. I'm actually in quarantine, so I have to do everything by myself, record, and it's a little difficult, a little different, but this is what I got to work with. We're living in crazy times. So the first things first, what is the PACER test? The PACER test stands for Progressive Aerobic Cardiovascular Endurance Run, nicknamed the 20-meter shuttle run. So each letter for the P stands for progressive, A stands for aerobic, C stands for cardiovascular, E stands for endurance, and R stands for run. So the progressive aerobic cardiovascular endurance run is actually designed to measure aerobic capacity. In other words, your endurance, performance, and fitness. The objective of the PACER is to run as long as possible while keeping a specific pace. It's very difficult. It's a lot harder than what it seems. To keep that same pace for consistently as the time increases every single minute, very difficult for many students. The objective of the PACER is to run as long as possible while keeping a specific pace. Students must run back and forth across a 20-meter space at a pace that gets faster each minute. 20 meters is what we need in order to perform the test, and each minute the PACER test increases in speed. A point is scored for each 20-meter distance covered. The test is easier in the beginning, but progressively gets more difficult. So, what do we need? We need a few things. 20 meters of space, 20 meters of open space. We need 20 meters of open space. It's very important. It's probably the most important thing that we actually need. No space, can't do the test. We need marker, cones, and or tape. We need measuring tape, PACER CD. PACER CD will basically be the test actually comes in a CD, and that the teacher doesn't have to keep track of when to increase the PACER test. The CD does it by itself. Play the CD, and it's gonna explain what the PACER test is, and also gonna let the students know when the test will begin. It also will increase. It will take care of the whole 9 yards, the whole 12 yards. So we need a CD player for the CD. We need copies of the score sheet. We need to keep track of our student scores. If we don't keep track of the student scores, then the PACER test will be pointless. Students need to know what their score is. And in order to do that, every student needs to have a partner. Their partner will keep track of how many laps they have done, how many breaks. If they miss 2 breaks, test is over, and that's their final score. It will be impossible for the teacher to just record a class of 20 students by themselves. It's almost impossible. We need a pen and pencil, and we also need a designated area where students can cool down and drink water after they have done their test. They're gonna be exhausted, so they need their own little corner where they can just rest. So the setup, we're gonna use tape or cones to mark 2 parallel lines 20 meters apart. So one line will be full. One side of the gym will be filled with parallel cones. Then the other side will be cones again, parallel, 20 meters apart. We're going to divide students into small groups or pairs. Again, before the PACER test even begins, it will be a good idea to practice the PACER 1 or 2 times before actually beginning the test, just to give students clarification on how it should be done. Can't have no confusion when the test has begun. Step 1. So let's go with step 1. We're going to make sure that 20-meter course is marked with cones and tape, and each of the lanes are divided. We got to give students enough space to run back and forth. Step 2, we're going to ensure that we have enough copies of either the group administration score sheets or the individual score sheets. We're going to review the PACER instructions with the students. Again, we have to explain to our students what the PACER test is, and they got to find value in what they're doing, because if they don't see no value in the exam, they're not going to give it their all. And we want students to try their best to get an actual score for them. So now step number 4, instruct the first group of students to stand at the start line. Step 5, we're going to begin the CD and listen for the word start. This is going to signify that the test has begun, and the students should start running. In the beginning of the test, it's a little easier. So students are allowed to actually walk at first to the end, as long as they make it in time. Just as long as they maintain the pace. Students will run from the start line to the end line and touch the end line with their foot before the beep sounds on the CD. So that's how it works. Students have to make it to one end before that beep sound. If they don't make it before the beep sound, that's one break, and you get max of 2. You miss 2 of them, you're out. So step 7, at the sound of the beep, the students must turn around and run back to the other end. If students reach the line before the beep sound, they must wait at the line until they hear the beep and then run back to the other end. Which means is that if a student gets to the end of the line before the beep, they must wait patiently until they hear the other beep. They can't just run back and forth, because that would not count. So you reach to the end, and if they have not heard the beep, they gotta wait. Once they hear the beep, then they run. Okay, step number 8, very important, this one. When the triple beep sounds, students should turn around and run to the other end, whether they are at the line or not. The only difference between the beep and the triple beep is that the triple beep sounds at the end of each minute and also alerts students that the pace will increase. So every time students hear that triple beep, what does that mean? It means that the pace will increase, so students will get like a notification alert that it's time to pick up the pace. We must make it to the other end before that beep, comes on again, because again, every minute is going to increase. They hear that triple beep, 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 boom, time is going to increase, and they have to rush to the other end. If the student fails to reach the line by the time the beep sounds, then that is counted as a miss. If a student has achieved 2 misses, then they have completed the PACER and should go to the cool down area. So again, when they hear that triple beep, the pace is going to increase, and if students don't make it on time to their end, after 2, the test is completed for them, and they should go to the rest area. And guys, that's basically it. So again, it's a few things to point out. You must get your equipment ready. Make sure that you have 20 meters of open space to perform the test. Make sure that you have worksheets to keep track of the scores for each student. Make sure that each student has a partner, so their partner will keep track of their score, because it's almost impossible for the teacher to keep track of every single student. It's difficult, especially that it's a fast-paced test. And again, the PACER test is meant to test students' endurance. It's to test their endurance. Okay, so again, I apologize. We live in crazy times, and I'm not allowed to be around anyone right now because I'm in quarantine. I would so much prefer to be outdoors, perform the test, get some people to actually do the PACER test. It's more fun and makes a better video. But like I said, we live in a crazy time, and this is the best that I can do. Thank you guys for watching. My name is Johnny Lacona, and I hope you guys enjoyed my video.